Red Sox or White Sox? And I'm like, neither. They both suck.
No, pasta. Red sauce or white sauce?
Well, I mean, I'm definitely red sauce because of white sauce is Alfredo.
So you're not an Alfredo guy?
I love Alfredo.
So which one are you picking though? If you can only have one the rest of your life,
then I'm gonna eat spaghetti.
Oh, spaghetti's your favorite pasta.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, my lasagna I make is my favorite pasta.
Oh, really?
But I'm not making lasagna noodles from scratch. I'm saying the lasagna that I make is my favorite. But we eat spaghetti all the time.
What is it, like Russell Stover's or something?
I can cook. I'm telling you.
Really?
I can cook.
A guy that loves food. I mean,
I can cook.
It's mostly just
my lasagna is basically pizza. I mean, because it's got lasagna noodles, but it's got ground beef, Italian sausage, pepperoni. It's all in there. And I don't like ricotta cheese.
Really?
I don't like, so I don't put it in my lasagna.
Is ricotta cheese like what's in manicotti?
Yeah.
So I like manicotti. I don't know.
I'll eat it. It's not my favorite.
I don't know what my favorite pasta is.
I don't like what we're getting today is those ziti, like the big tube noodles. I don't like those.
Oh, okay.
But that's what you get when you get catering because that's what keeps best. But
see,
spaghetti. I love fettuccine Alfredo. Okay. We are getting some of that today, so there should be some left over actually. So,
so when it comes to stuff like that though, like I'm not cooking that. Like the extent of my cooking is like grill work, Blackstone, but like beyond like breakfast. Like I do a lot of breakfast.
I can make really good chili.
Okay.
I'm not patting myself on. I'm saying that people tell me that my chili is the best I've ever had. I make good spaghetti, and it's not like I'm not making the sauce from scratch. It's just what I do with what I got. Like I'm a Prego guy. If you bring anything else, I'm throwing it in the trash. Prego for everything.
See, some people would just trash on you for that.
100% they would, but my spaghetti's good. So
my favorite food.
The key is the stick of butter that I put on the noodles after they get the water.
That'll probably do it. Yeah. Yeah. My favorite food, my favorite dish is when my mom makes spaghetti.
Okay.
Same thing. I don't think it's necessarily like, it's just the way she does it.
I learned how to cook from my mom.
Gotcha.
Like just watching things that she does. Now I don't do exactly what she does because I took what she did and I kind of adapted it to my own. So like my mother-in-law, this is just an interesting thing. Chili. I mean, when I was growing up in Indiana, they put spaghetti in chili, which apparently is a Kentucky, Indiana thing.
Really?
I don't do that to my spaghetti now, but
there's a name for that. What do they call that?
I have no. It was chili when I was growing up, but like there's some people in Indiana that swear that it's not chili unless it's got spaghetti in it.
Really?
So like that's what you get at Steak and Shake. It's like chili 3-way or 5-way.
Oh yeah. That's what it is. That's what I was thinking.
But it's my mother-in-law puts pepperoni in her chili, like the big ones.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, that's good, but it was like getting them on the spoon was kind of, it's like, so they make mini pepperonis. And so that's that in my chili, I've got mini pepperonis in it, but I also have a combination of ground beef, have 50-50 ground beef and sausage, pork sausage.
Man.
Which most people don't put in there.
You're a huge chili guy.
I love chili.
How do you like whenever you eat chili, like I've got to have shredded cheese. I've got to have sour cream.
I will put oyster crackers.
Yeah.
If it's like fresh, the day of, I'll put oyster crackers in it. If I'm heating it up the next day or next couple days, I may just eat it straight. But I don't eat it with cheese or sour cream or any of that.
My biggest quorum, is that a word? Is that the right? Am I saying
that?
Quorum?
Quorum.
Is that right? My biggest quorum with chili. Is that right? No.
Qualm.
Qualm? Is it a qualm? My biggest
QUALM. Qualm.
No, the thing I hate most. How about this? How about I just reword it?
How about we just not try to sound smart?
The thing I hate most is a really bean heavy chili.
It's got to be meaty.
Yeah.
Meaty. And I don't want it too runny and I don't want it too thick. But yeah, that's why my chili, it's meaty. So, and so is my lasagna. Everything that I cook is meaty if I can help it. So,
popular guy. You got to take something?
I don't know who these people are.
Probably just telemarketers.
Yeah, probably.
Welcome back into another episode of Where the Game Lives On, the official podcast of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Day of release, May 22nd, 2024. We are well into season.
Is it season 3, really?
Season 3.
I told somebody it was season 2.
You told about 675 people it was season.
Is it really season 3?
Season 3, yeah.
I don't know. We started at calendar year last year, so I'm all confused.
So 2024, we started this year, season 3.
Okay. Well,
It's just going to extend through the year, and then
I wasn't
season
counting
4
those.
next year.
I wasn't counting those episodes I wasn't in. That was like a whole season of the forgotten season those episodes I missed, I guess. So
we'll have 1 week off, if anybody's wondering, for our regular listeners. At the end of June, we'll have 1 week where we don't come out with an episode. That's planning for us. Other than that,
I'll have a week off next week because I won't be here.
Yeah, well, we'll continue to have the content pushed out, but you're going to Disney or Orlando?
Actually, I'm going to competing. I'm going to Universal.
Okay.
For a few, like next weekend, like for about 3 days. My wife basically told my kids, my aunt told my niece and nephew, basically if they finish the Harry Potter books, that they could go to Universal to Harry Potter World.
Nice.
The family I married into is Disney.
Nice.
So us to go to Orlando and go to Universal instead of Disney is a big deal, but that's where Harry Potter Land is, or World, or whatever it is. So I promised my kids that I'm not reading the books. I promised them that I would watch all 500 movies before we went, and I've made it through 1.5. So
there's 8.
8. Okay. Well,
you're going to be watching.
I think I've seen enough bits and pieces of them watching the movies that I kind of get an idea of what's going on, and
just watch them on like 5x speed on the plane.
It's not. I would give me like Die Hard and Lethal Weapon. I'm not a fantasy world rugrat. What is it? Wigwam. Warts.
Wizards.
Hogwarts. There it is.
Hogwarts.
Yeah, I'm not. It's in my. Supposedly the author it's like the best. My wife has read 10 million books, and she says it's the best writer she's ever read. So, but not doing it. Sorry.
No,
I failed my children.
If you understand, I told you I had been to the Wizarding World a long time ago, like when it first opened. I think we went to Universal. Okay. If you understand the concept of the world that the story's set in, you can enjoy it.
I think that like I said, I've seen enough of them watching the movies and bits and pieces that I'm not going to be completely a fish out of water, although I'm sure there's going to be people walking around in costumes and everything. That's not, but we'll go there for a few days, see that, and then we are actually taking a Disney cruise. So we are getting, like I said, you got to get Disney in there somehow. So looking forward to it. Haven't been on a family vacation in a while, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, good on your kids though for reading all the books.
They're they're readers. They read a lot. So.
I read a lot growing up, then I recently was reading a book and realized probably haven't read a book in 6 or 8 years.
I was a voracious reader growing up. There's a nice little use of the word voracious, but I mean I read books all the time. I read the newspaper, which doesn't exist anymore pretty much, but I would read the sports pages every day. Reading I think it contributes to intelligence. It contributes to, I think it's a key. So my wife and I have been my wife especially adamant that my kids read, and they love reading and they read. So
yeah, you're an excellent proofreader too.
That's
a gift and a curse, right?
That's the best way to put it, because I can look and see the tiniest error that someone misses. But
well, we just got back from our Kansas City Enshrinement this past weekend. A very eventful weekend for the Hall of Fame staff. We were doing some donor relations, maybe. I don't know what you would consider what we were doing on Saturday. We went and checked out the Corn Ferry Tour event, where surprisingly enough, a former winner of the Price Cutter Charity Championship ended
Harry
up winning
Higgs.
that. Harry Higgs there. First win since winning the Price Cutter in 2019.
Yeah.
So we were just kind of doing some inside looks
For
at
folks that
tournament.
don't know who Harry Higgs is, if you recall a year or two ago at the Waste Management Open, the guy who ripped his shirt off on 16, Harry Higgs. So he's definitely a character.
And he was with who? The guy from Full Swing?
Joel Damon. Is that right?
I think that's right. Yeah, look at you. You're on one today.
But
then, of course, we had the enshrinement on Sunday after stopping by a Royals game.
Yeah, shout out
Saturday
to,
night.
first of all, Rick Amos with the Advent Health Championship in Kansas at Blue Hills Country Club. He was an awesome host, came up. We just wanted to kind of see how other tournaments do it, get some ideas and suggestions, and just trying to always make the Price Cutter Charity Championship the best it can be. And part of that is seeing what other people are doing. So he was a great host. And then shout out to Emily Penning with the Kansas City Royals. I wrote her thinking that, we had 7 or 8 people that were trying to get into a Royals game last minute. And I was hoping that she could help us out setting together. I was honestly expecting the note, just upper deck or whatever, where they had 7 seats together. And so we get in and we were about whatever J in the alphabet is were off the field. So what is that? 10, 12 rows off the field. So it was an awesome experience. Great staff night out on Saturday night at the Royals. And they're playing some ball.
They are gaining some momentum.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of energy that's around them.
And we got to see, was it Seth Lugo?
Seth Lugo.
He's like leading the AL in like 7 or 8 different pitching categories. He was on the mound for the Royals and got the W. So
yeah, we also sat like 10 rows up from Andy Reid.
Yes, Andy Reid was in the house, sitting on the front row. He was in A. We were in J.
He was kind of in like this private section.
I think he knows someone, but he had on the Royals colors. Of course, it was a Hawaiian themed Royals shirt, of course, but they showed him on the Jumbotron during I guess it was a 7th inning stretch. Maybe.
Yeah.
So
jokingly, I say this jokingly. It was cool that we saw him and he was, within earshot almost, but part of me was like, I guess he's not too concerned about all these offseason headlines. He's just chilling at a baseball game. But enshrinement on Sunday, for time's sake, go back, check out our socials. A ton of great stuff that came out of it. Honored some really great athletes, teams, coaches. Even had a Legends ceremony there at the end for Tom Watson. What was your biggest takeaway? What was most memorable?
It's just probably the same for every enshrinement. Just the afterwards, the number of people. Oh, that was so great. Thank you. I mean, just so many people. Gerald Andrews used to say this before he left. We made a lot of people happy. And that's exactly, we kind of had our debriefings, staff meeting, and we saw these little things that were errors and mistakes, and nobody else saw those because, we are looking for them. But just the number of smiles, and what I love about our Hall of Fame, of course, Eric Hosmer, couple standing ovations.
Tom Watson had one, yeah.
Tom Watson standing ovation, of course, for Legends ceremony. That stuff is awesome. Casey Wiegman, Ben McCollum, he's going to do massive things. He's at Drake now from Northwest Missouri State and probably climbing up. I could see him winding up at a Kansas or Kentucky one day just because of he's just that good. But so those guys are great. But just Fred Fluke. Yeah. Fred Fluke is probably close to 90 years old. He coached baseball forever at William Jewell, won a national championship. Several have been lobbying for him to get in the Hall of Fame for a while. He lives in Cape Girardeau. He's, not in the best of health. They were even concerned, was he going to be able to make it to Kansas City, gets a long drive. And just when he was announced, just the former players in the room just standing up, yelling and screaming. That stuff like that, just awesome. The Hickman Mills team, from the late 70s.
Yep.
They were all over the country. They were flying in from Florida and Arizona, and it was just that type of stuff is incredible. So
yeah, amazing.
Vincent Key, the Dr. Vincent Key for the Royals team physician, his speech, and I was watching his mom, and he was talking about just how, kind of overcoming long odds and all this stuff, and he had done it in his work ethic from his parents. Yeah. His mom was the proudest. She had the biggest smile on her face, and it was just cool to see those type things. Yeah. So that's what I love about the enshrinements.
I agree. We are very fortunate I'm very grateful to get to do what we do. We're in the business of making people happy, is what I like to say, which is really cool. And you're absolutely right. Everybody loves to see the Eric Hosmers there and the very familiar faces. But for a guy like a Fred Fluke, and there's several others of those that we induct that are worth mentioning, but just taking one example there, Fred Fluke, awesome that he is a Hall of Famer. He is a legend at William Jewell, a legend. Yeah. So to see those kind of people get the nod from our committees, and then we get the luxury of getting to honor them and have a special day for them is just so cool. It's so cool to be a part of. One other thing, I gotta say it though, and maybe we'll get this guy on the pod, Eric Hosmer. Yeah. My goodness, he told us that it had been a while since he was back in KC. And obviously, I'll be transparent. We try to make sure guys like that don't just get totally mauled. During the day of enshrinement. He was like, "Don't worry about it. I want to shake every person's hand and take a picture."
He hung out in the crowd and did not say no to anyone.
So cool.
Photos, autographs. He was awesome.
I told him, like, I literally just kind of like dapped him up. I was like, "Dude, I am impressed." He's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Just your willingness to like be personable with each of these people is so cool." And he goes, "Dude, I love this city." He's like, "This city is the only reason I ever played as long as I did, because they loved me here, and the organization gave me a chance to really make it." And I was like, "Dang, man, I thought it was save it for the speech, dude."
I thought it was pretty cool during his video. Of course, he'd already kind of gotten a standing ovation before while the video started. I mean, people missed the start of the video because they were standing up clapping.
Yeah.
And so everybody calms down. And then like during the video, of course, it's the mad dash from third base in the game 6, I think it was, or maybe game 7 of the World Series. He takes off. He was at third. The ball's hit. They throw it to first for the out, and he takes off, breaks for home, and scores the tying run, I think it was, and they go on to win the game. But when that play is on the video, everybody stands up again, screaming, clapping. It's like they were at Kaufman again. But what a fun day!
Absolutely, it was a great weekend, and there's a sense of accomplishment, finality for us. But anytime we get to do it, it's a lot of work, a lot of stuff that goes on. You're right; people don't always see it, but the sense of achievement is always kind of worth the while. So
and it's like just peeling back the curtain a little bit. I mean, we went up in March, I think it was.
Yep.
Had the press conference, announced the class, and so we've been working on this for 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. And so when you actually, by the time we get to the event, it's like, have we dotted every I, crossed every T? You're all of this preparation going. I mean, we have a box truck that was loaded down. We're hauling stuff up there. We're setting up gift shops and auctions, and we're putting program. I mean, all of this stuff goes in. And so by the time we get to the end of it, it's almost like an exhale. And then you look at the calendar and we've got, a humongous golf tournament in less than 2 weeks. And then we've got, the Price Cutter Charity Championship coming up. So it's like on to the next event for us. Whereas these inductees are probably still flying on a high of, that was what a great day. And, they're hanging their plaque on whatever wall or trophy case. And so we get to move on and go to the next event. This is for these folks. It's a big deal.
I feel that though. I try to relish in it a little bit. I'm like, hey, we just completed something that was, it was a big project, a lot of things that had to go into it. But you're right. It's another thing.
Obviously, even being named a Missouri sports legend and getting a bronze bust is a huge deal for Tom Watson. The guy's put 2 green jackets on. Okay, this is not. I understand that it's not the culmination of his career. He's won 8 majors. And so I get that. But for a lot of the people on the stage on Sunday, this was the highlight of their Eric Hosmer, great baseball player, probably not going to Cooperstown. Okay. So this could be, the highest level of honor he receives. I have no idea. Winning a World Series is a big deal.
Yeah.
But for a lot of these coaches and players and teams, this is the biggest thing they're going to receive in their career. And so it's kind of neat to be a part of that. And that's what, in my opinion, differentiates the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame from every other state sports Hall of Fame. Most of them, you're getting the Tom Watsons and Eric Hosmers and Casey Wiegmans.
Yeah.
You're not getting Fred Fluke. You're not getting, Dr. Ashley Wysong. You're not getting Dr. Vincent Key. You're not getting some of these others that went in. So
yeah, which with the stance of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, those people absolutely Hall of Fame careers.
Yep.
We'll shift gears a little bit here. Did you see Hosmer's ring? Did you see his World Series ring?
That was funny because there was in the press availability beforehand. There was one of the Hickman Mills players actually. He let her try it on and take a picture with it, and it was like on her hand. It was like she couldn't even put her finger. It was massive.
Yeah,
I joked with him on the class photo. They had everybody sitting there, and there was a chair in the middle that they put me in. And I was in between Tom Watson and Eric Hosmer, and I joked as I said, "Oh yeah, I forgot my World Series ring at home." And he was, "Oh, you want to wear mine?" I was like, "No, that's all right. You go ahead." So
sweet. One other thing that I think we had to talk about this week. That happened this past weekend on the PGA. Scotty Scheffler, my goodness!
What a crazy weekend in Louisville.
I was I was never rooting for him more. I'll tell you that, because if he ended up winning that tournament, that's the kind of stuff that the 30 for 30s are made of.
The whole thing's bizarre. First and foremost, tragic situation. I mean, there was a volunteer that was struck by a shuttle bus, died at the scene. That's don't lose sight of that. But then you have the number one. It's not Harry Higgs. It's not some guy, Joe Smith. PGA pro from Nebraska. It's the number one ranked player in the world. And just a whole misunderstanding from what it sounds like. Obviously, it'll play out. I think
there will be legal stuff that takes place.
It's just crazy. But then the fact that he's in jail and he's doing stretches, he's like doing his pre-round routine in the jail cell, and then goes out and shoots a 66 after all of this. Yeah, to put himself in contention. Obviously, he faded a little bit on the weekend, but just unbelievable.
Yeah, no. If he would have found a way to. And of course, like I think he came out first hole after that whole incident happened in the morning and birdied the first. So like I mean, I think what kind of happened is that was Saturday morning or no, it was Friday.
It was Friday. Yep.
I think Friday, all that happening and taking place, I think he really had a lot of adrenaline. And it allowed him to play well. And then I think that he kind of caught up with him on Saturday, and that's kind of where he started to fade. But yeah, not to be insensitive to, the incident that kind of started the whole chaos fiasco that was that morning. I was you just never see anything like it. It was so weird. And social media, of course, just had a heyday
Twitter,
with
of course, is where I'm first thing I get on and I'm seeing the mug shot. And with Photoshop these days, I mean, you're like, what is this? This is and you're like, wait, what? And then you start looking, and it's like, what in the world is happening? But it was just unbelievable.
I woke up.
I think my favorite part is the police report, the last line when it makes reference to destroying his $80 pair of pants was destroyed beyond repair. The police officer, it's in the police report.
Seriously.
That he did this and this and blah 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 blah, and
the pants he was going to play in that day,
and then he no not Scotty, the police officer's pants.
Oh, seriously,
the police officer that wrote that his pants were destroyed beyond repair. His pants worth $80 were destroyed beyond repair. That's like the last line of the police report.
Seriously,
the whole, like I said, the whole thing's bizarre.
Yeah,
I think the just non-Scotty PGA. The most Kentucky thing ever is on two separate occasions. I saw snakes on the course that guys picked up and carried off and put back in the woods. The most Kentucky thing ever.
Yeah.
To see a guy walking across carrying a snake in his hand and laying it down in the woods to crawl away or slither away. So
yeah. You talked about like those seeing the mugshot and everything. I got up Friday morning and saw a snippet of the ESPN report that was breaking it. They were on set. I don't know who the guy is. He's a field reporter for him.
The morning of,
yes,
Jeff Darlington.
But I was yes. I was like, is this like AI generated or something? Like, is this real? This has got to be a joke. I could not believe it.
Please help me.
Yeah, like I didn't.
It was unbelievable.
And I had just woken up and I was kind of like, am I hearing this right? Like it just.
But it's the obviously it'll play out. But I mean, you have the story is that one officer. There's obviously traffic's backed up. Apparently, he's in a marked car with PGA on it. One officer is telling the players to drive down this lane and into the club, and so he's proceeding. The other thing I think that added to the confusion is that apparently there were volunteers that were helping with parking that were wearing the exact same or similar reflective vest type, and so speculation is that maybe he thought that the actual officer was, I don't know, just a bad deal, miscommunication,
but just the fact that it's the world number one and the guy who's had like 3 wins this year.
If I'm Scotty Scheffler, I'm like, do you know who I am? He's dropping the, do you know who I am? He let himself be cuffed and put in the back of a police car and taken down. And not only that, but had to change clothes into the orange jumpsuit.
Booked, charged. You said he needed to wear orange on orange like
so
Ricky Fowler.
I'm just telling you that obviously Friday was social media at its finest in terms of the memes and the jokes. It was just unbelievable. But
yeah, no, my favorite was like it was like a POV, like you're the officer that arrested Scotty Scheffler. And he's talking to another cop. He's like, yeah, I just brought a guy in. We're getting him booked. And he goes, what was his name? And he's like, his last name had something to do with cooking. Scheffler? He's like, you're not telling me you arrested Scotty Scheffler. He's like, yeah, that's the one. He's like, you just arrested the world number one player in golf, you idiot. Like,
there was one. You had a picture of from O.J. Simpson's chase on all the police cars on the interstate. Instead of the Ford Bronco, you got a golf cart and Scotty driving it. And then you had, of course, Scotty decked out, Ricky Fowler orange. It's unbelievable.
There's a song, there's a pretty popular song that came out recently that's called First Day Out. And it's about a guy's first day out of prison. And so like they were showing him back on the course, walking to the first tee box, and they were playing that song.
that was the reference. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I saw that and I didn't get the music reference.
First day out,
gotcha.
Like, cause he's out of, but I don't know.
It was just
wild.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get a lot done Friday. I was just scrolling and laughing, and it was.
But it's so crazy. The world moves so quickly that like this happens early in the morning. I don't know. We'll say 7 a.m. local time, and by like 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the morning, people are out on the course wearing a shirt with his mugshot on it. I'm like, my goodness.
There was guys out there on Saturday wearing the orange jumpsuit.
Yeah,
like it was.
I'm sorry, but we need a little bit more of that in golf.
It was just a crazy situation.
Absolutely.
And then we got out of the enshrinement in time. Driving home, I actually got to see the last 3 or 4 holes of the actual Sunday finish, and got to see Xander Schauffele. We got to see Bryson DeChambeau sink a putt that tied him for the lead. He's in the clubhouse. You got Xander, who just folded last week, if I'm not mistaken, lost a Sunday lead a week ago.
Yeah,
hasn't been able to close. Hadn't won a major, and he hit some shots that were kind of shaky on 17. Wound up, scrambled, got his par, and then got to within, I think it was 6 feet and a few inches with a putt to basically win the tournament. And as they were talking on the broadcast, this is what you dream of, and he touched every. I mean, it went did the whole curly cue around the cup and fell in, but good for Xander.
Still counts. Yep. We'll make a prediction. We've just got a few minutes left here. One last thing. We're going into NBA Eastern and Western Conference Finals. You probably don't even know.
No, I know exactly, because you guys, you and Taylor on here talking trash about my Indiana Pacers.
Here we go.
What about my Indiana Pacers in the Final Four?
Yeah, so here's what we'll do. We've got who is it?
Pacers versus Celtics, and you got Minnesota versus
Timberwolves. Yeah, or Mavs versus Minnesota.
Yeah.
Timberwolves. Yep.
Which is crazy because there's only one seed left, and that's Boston.
That's right, and they've kind of been cruising a little bit.
Yeah, they're the favorite.
So let's do this. The NBA Finals matchup. Who wins it and how many games, and who's the Finals MVP?
Wow, the West.
You want me to give you mine? Let me give you mine real quick.
You got. Okay, go ahead.
It'll be Celtics, Timberwolves. Celtics in 6, Jason Tatum MVP.
Okay, so I have to go opposite that, right? Is that what?
Well, I figured you'd go with the Pacers, possibly.
Well, I mean,
you want to dog us for talking crap.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that Boston is the favorite, but
Okay.
I'm taking the Pacers in 7,
Okay.
just because I'm from Indianapolis. So I'll go Pacers in 7, and if you took Minnesota, I'll take Dallas just because I have no reason why.
Right.
So I'll say Dallas in 7, and then Dallas in 6 for the finals. How's that?
Who's MVP?
Who's Dallas's? But Luka Doncic, does he play for them?
Luka.
I'll go Luka.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. You know what I hate?
I mean, you're gonna be right. So.
You know what I hate though? The NBA playoffs are so long.
It's awful.
Like,
I mean,
the
they started in April and they won't finish until the end of June.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No,
it's too long. You got 3 months of playoffs and 4 months of season? November, December, January, February, March. I guess 5 months of season and 3 months of playoffs. I can't follow.
It's so I don't get it. It's so long.
Well, the other thing is they take like 3 days in between games and stuff. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, you better believe that I was bringing up the fact the Pacers are in the Eastern Conference Finals after the way you guys dogged them.
All we said was it would be a good spot for like LeBron to go chase his son.
Uh-huh.
You know, like don't they have like Buddy Hield or something?
Not anymore.
They don't have Buddy Hield.
I think they traded him.
Oh, really? See, they're just missing a few pieces. That's all.
I'll be honest with you. I know Tyrese Halliburton is their stud, and he's on his way to being like one of the top players in the league if he isn't already there.
Yeah.
But they got this Siakam. He came from like Toronto.
Pascal
Siakam.
Siakam, yeah.
Siakam. He's like their pickup during the season. He's been big. So
yeah, he plays the
Miles
4.
Turner.
Yeah, he plays the 4. Miles Turner plays the 5.
And they got Nimhard as they're
pretty solid. All right,
it's pretty good for a small market team. I mean, let's face it, I love Indianapolis, awesome city, but it's not a destination for the elite NBA players usually. So
yeah, well, we'll see. I've got Celtics in 6. Byron's got Mavs in 7. Time will tell. I don't think we're putting money on it, but I like my odds.
Well, you got made the record state that you got to pick first.
Okay, fair enough. Well, if you made it this far in the episode, we appreciate you joining us. Be sure to leave a comment, leave us a review, share it with your friends. New episodes every Wednesday, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Stay up to date on everything happening around the world, sports, Missouri, and beyond. Byron, anything for the people?
We'll see you next week. No, I won't. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
We'll see you next time on another episode of Where the Game Lives On.